The wreckage of the two planes has fallen just outside the small city of Überlingen on the German-Swiss border. Wreckage is scattered over 130 square miles. It's the worst mid-air collision in German post-war history.
The sky was orange, red, flaming, and we saw these pieces falling down and detonations again and again, and we realized it couldn't have been a normal thunderstorm.
Debris comes raining down around a school for handicapped children run by Bruno and Stella Wegmüller.
Incredible, because there are many, many houses here, but around our school we find bodies, children.
We very soon also realized that we couldn't do anything really. And for other people it is like a bad dream.
Approximately 40 square kilometers, a corridor 20 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. We assume that the turbines of the Boeing separated first, approximately 700 to 800 meters high before this plane crashed.
In this part died 28 children.
I nearly fainted. I leaned to the table. I didn't know what to do.
Vitaly Khaloyev, the Russian architect, was awaiting his family in Barcelona. Vitaly finds a broken pearl necklace. He recognizes it as his 4-year-old daughter's. Amazingly, amidst all the carnage, Vitaly finds his daughter's body intact.
She did not suffer at all.
The mutilated bodies of his wife and son won't be found until later. Vitaly Khaloyev, who lost his entire family, has designed and built a huge monument in their memory. At Skyguide in Zurich, after the collision, work has all but come to a standstill. Peter Nielsen never again worked on an air traffic workstation. The hunt begins for a scapegoat. If two planes collide in empty skies, someone must be to blame. The media spotlight now falls on controller Peter Nielsen.
The accusation was manslaughter by negligence.
That investigation is underway, headed by Germany's air crash detectives, the BFU.
So this is a typical voice recorder, which was built into the Tupolev 154, but the original voice recorder of the Tupolev was heavily damaged. So we had to remove the tape and replay it on such a specialized tape recorder.
This is the hangar where wreckage of the planes was examined.
This one here is the lower surface of the right wing of the Tupolev, and that remaining stub here went below the Tupolev and caused these scratches.
July 2003. Many parents returned to Überlingen in Germany for the first anniversary. The Germans built a memorial on the site of the tragedy. It's made up of a series of giant silver pearls on a broken necklace. The head of Skyguide is among the crowd. Among the parents is Vitaly Khaloyev. He asks the head of Skyguide which controller was responsible for the accident, but receives no answer. The request passes almost unnoticed, but Vitaly Khaloyev is not satisfied. Meanwhile, as the investigators work, they discover a fog of confusion surrounding TCAS.
Descend flight level 350. Expedite.
No one said what should happen if there was a conflict between what TCAS was saying and what the controller was saying. Vitaly Khaloyev, the Russian architect, has lost his entire family, everything. He himself has gone to pieces. He's become obsessed with finding out who is responsible for the collision. Khaloyev decides to travel to Zurich to play out the last tragic chapter in the Überlingen story. On February the 24th, 2004, a stranger calls at the house of the controller Peter Nielsen. They found Vitaly Kaloyev nearby in a hotel. Suspected but not yet charged with the murder, he's presently in a psychiatric clinic while they decide whether he's fit to stand trial.
The killing of the flight controller was a very, very sad event. And the saddest thing of all was that he was not actually responsible for the accident. The system responsible for the accident was the poor Skyguide management and quality control of their system.
The investigators had worked out exactly what went wrong that night at Skyguide. First, Peter's colleague goes for a break. Then, following management instructions, the maintenance men start to switch things off. Then, by chance, an unexpected aircraft, the Aeroloid tourist plane, arrives at the critical moment and needs a lot of attention. It completely distracts Peter. He tries to get outside help, but the main phone system has been accidentally disconnected by the maintenance crew, and the backup phone isn't working. The controller has been robbed of all the technical support he needs. Finally, when both planes are descending, the DHL pilots cannot tell him what's happening because the radio frequency is busy. It had taken the German BFU investigators 22 months to publish their final report. They found that the disaster had two major causes. Firstly, Peter Nielsen was too late in noticing the danger of a collision. Secondly, the Russian crew was wrong to obey him when he told them to descend, rather than their own TCAS equipment telling them to climb. But other pilots understand their dilemma.
The TCAS commands are spoken in such a dispassionate voice. Descend. Increase descent. Such a matter-of-fact type of voice. And then there's the voice of the air traffic controller's urgent command. Descend immediately. Leave this altitude immediately. Go to another altitude at once. So, whichever voice sounded more urgent was the one the crew obeyed.
Finally, the report severely criticized Skyguide for leaving a lone controller on duty that night.
Mistakes were made by us also, and we regret them deeply. We acknowledge our responsibility as set out in the BFU report, and we ask the families of the victims for forgiveness.
At Skyguide in Zurich, a rose now sits in a vase in memory of Peter Nielsen and the tragedy of Überlingen.